Horizons. Hope you're having a blessed day. It's very chilly here today. It's very cold. Hey, crow. But it's very beautiful. It's very refreshing. It has been full of life today. And hey, Robin. I'm gonna keep getting distracted because there's just life everywhere, and I don't really have a theme. Well, I suppose I do have a theme on today's video. I wanted to share the joy that there's just the vast quantities of joy that I have experienced in just a small snippet of time this dawning. And that's before the day's even started. And so I suppose my motivation for making the video today was that I was sat here, I was drinking my coffee, I was in stillness, I was observing, and in my line of sight over on a neighbour's tree was a squirrel. And it was, sitting on the tree, scratching itself, cleaning itself, doing its thing. Yeah, like that. And it was just so beautiful. It was like it was a silhouette. So the sun hadn't yet come up, and but the sky was like so many different colours. What I could see was that after it had finished cleaning itself, it appeared to go back to sleep, which I thought was really cool, because I have like a list of questions in my head as to like that it kind of answered a little. It just lay where it had been scratching on the branch, so it's quite a big branch, it's quite a big tree. I did attempt to video it, and that was the motivation of the video. It just lay down back on the branch, and its tail was hanging down, and it looked in the silhouette like it was just lying on the branch like this with its tail hanging down, and it looked so cute, like it had gone, yeah, the sun's not quite up yet, I'm gonna go back to sleep for a bit. And that's one of the questions that I have in my head, like, birds get up, like, where do they sleep? Like, do they all have like nests, or do they only nest when they have eggs? Where do they sleep? What gets them out of bed? Do they like open their eye and go, yeah, I'm too tired, I'm gonna go back to sleep? Or do they just get up and go, right, I'm awake? Do they wake up with puffy eyes? Like, if they haven't slept well, do they get puffy eyes? I have so many silly questions in my head. But anyway, so the squirrel, I wanted to take a little video of the squirrel. And so this quite often happens to me. I don't know how people manage to take really cool videos, because whenever I try and take a video or a photo, very rarely does it ever look the way that it does to my eyeballs, right? And so I tried to take a little video of the squirrel, and it just looked like a blob, like really far away, like all the light changed on the camera. I tried to mess around with the camera settings, and it looked like 3 times further away than it does to my eyes, and all the perspective was wrong, and you couldn't really see it. It was just a black blob. Just up there. Just up there. On. Ready for the giant finger. On that branch there. David Attenborough, eat your heart out. And it was, so I decided to just put the camera down and sit and observe the squirrel. And that's what motivated me to make the video today. It was about So the idea came to me about looking at life through a different lens. And that, like, when I look through my lens, my eyes see something totally different. But then when I put the camera, like my phone, in front of it, especially phones are just fucking horrid things. Like, can't be doing with them. They just overcomplicate everything. But especially the phone, putting the phone lens there, like, massively distorted the image, massively changed what I was seeing. Like, what I was seeing on the camera was not what my eyes were seeing. And it was like, well, if I'd have shown that to somebody else, they'd have been like, eh. But like, my eyeballs were like, wow, look at that cool guy up there going back to sleep, and he looked so cozy and comfy on the branch, and I could see him like quite close up with my eyes, quite detailed. Camera just turned him into a blob. And so it was about, I'd already had like an experience up to that point, which I'm going to talk about. But the squirrel was what motivated me to think about the different lens. And so if we backtrack, over the last couple of weeks, I've had quite a tumultuous time. There's been a lot of change in the household. There's been a lot of change. And obviously, as the responsible parent and the responsible adult in the house, it's up to me to facilitate that change and navigate it and do all the necessary paperwork and all the necessary form fillings and the declarings of things and interacting with Babylons, which I don't like doing because that's just unnecessarily complicated too. But it needs to be done. And it's been quite difficult, I think, for me. Not difficult. It's almost like having to sit in two realms quite often. You know, there's a lot of like different groups, I suppose, if you want to call them, of life, of spirituality, of religion as well. And sitting, I suppose, with my concept of the universe and what is not, and how I feel all the time, like happy and joyful and grateful and content, is quite difficult sometimes to sit with when other people around me are not feeling that way. And having to do the Babylon thing, like, that doesn't half make things difficult. And so I suppose it's been quite intense, and I've managed quite well, I think, over the last few weeks with all the different changes that have gone on. To maintain, you know, a consistent flow of creativity and happiness and joy and routine. And for the first time ever, like, I've been sleeping past like light. Usually I'm awake before the light sort of turns on. Whatever you want to call that. I'm usually awake before it goes light. There you go. But for the first time ever, like, I've been sleeping past, like, waking up when it's actually light, and it's, you know, it was a little bit odd at first, and then I was like, okay, I must just need the rest. So I just took a step back, and I allowed the rest, and I allowed the recuperation, and it must have worked because everybody around me's been sick. I haven't been sick, so that's been quite nice. It's always easier to look after sick people when you're not sick. Yeah, yeah, a lot of people have been getting, having the colds and the coughs around me, and I'm assuming that the extra rest was me, putting up my defences and allowing my body to heal overnight and do the thing. And so it's been different, but it's been something to observe. As I said in my other video about, wearing shoes now, that's been something else. It's not been a comfortable thing. Because somebody once told me that instead of saying out of your comfort zone, it should be out of your familiar zone. And I suppose that's what it's been. Like, the shoe thing has been out of my familiar zone, and so it's been something to sit and observe. It's not that it's out of my comfort zone, it's out of my familiar zone. And so it's given me an opportunity to observe how my body feels in it, like how my mind feels in it, what it is that is different, why it feels different. Hey, bird. Distractions. And so it's given me like an opportunity for self-awareness and for self-reflection and for self-observation, and so has the extra sleeping, I think. Like, oh, okay, it's given me an opportunity. It's out of my familiar zone. Part of me is just like, oh my gosh, what's wrong? Like, why am I sleeping so much? And I suppose in the past, when I had a lot to do, it would have felt like an indulgence that I wasn't. Hey, Mousy, how you doing? Not seen you for a while. How you doing? Oh, cute. Distractions, like, this is what I mean. The whole garden has been teeming with life today, and it's been beautiful. So back to where I was. So in the past, when I had a lot to do, when I was in a constant state of, I suppose, what society tells us we should be, which is like, go, 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 go. If you don't work hard, you won't amount to anything. If you don't, sacrifice everything, you'll never get anything. And so, and I suppose as well, when you're in a state of processing trauma, or maybe it's like a background program that you might not be even aware of, there is a tendency to go, 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 because if you sit still for long enough, your brain will start thinking about the trauma. And that's why you get people that don't like to sit down, or don't like to be in stillness, and they get their phones out, or they reach for a cigarette, or they start going on fucking Temu or whatever it is, or Candy Crush, or Facebook, or watching TV. There's so many distractions, and it's not a judgment. It's not a judgment at all. It's not like, oh, you shouldn't be doing those things. Like, do what you want. I'm speaking from my own perspective, and from what I've learned about psychological conditions and neurodevelopmental conditions and myself through those things. And so a few years ago, I would have been like really troubled by extra sleep. I'd have been like, yeah, but I don't sleep. I don't need sleep. And it would have been like a contradictory thought or behaviour to who I thought I was, rather than just relaxing into it and going, oh, okay, so I need extra sleep right now. That's fine. That's good, right? If I can sit and rest, that means my brain is rested. That means that my body is in a restful state. That can't be a bad thing, right? Doesn't mean like, oh, you're not doing enough. You're not, you're too lazy, or you're using sleep as a distraction. Like, my brain would have gone overtime on it and really overthought it. Yeah, there's a squirrel again. Anyway, sorry. And so I've been kind of in this like pendulum motion of sitting with all the things that I have to do at the moment, and how it's not that it's stressful, and it's not that it's making me anxious. It's just I don't like engaging with Babylon, and everything is through computers, and I really struggle with that, and it makes it quite difficult. So if I was to just ring up a person and fill in an actual form and go and give that to somebody, that feels like it would be a lot less energy draining for me than sitting on a computer, having to fill it in online, having to email it to somebody, having to speak to the fucking AI thing on the phone. It just goes around in loops. She doesn't listen. And so it's things like that, and it makes it quite frustrating for me, and I have to sit with that frustration. But then on the other hand, feeling, excited about the changes, and happy and grateful for all the things that I have for my body, for my family, for Gaia, for the birds, for my garden, for Mousy and squirrels, and just the experience of being able to walk around and breathe and smile and laugh and observe and hear, all of these things that so many people take for granted all day, every day, because they are busy or overthinking things that aren't important. And so today is going to be a day of having to do all the forms and the phone calls and the computer shit that I really don't like. I really don't like the computers and the phones and the emails and the online stuffs, which I have done a video about. Maybe I'll do another one, because that's separate to what I'm talking about today. And I was kind of a bit like, ugh, when I got up this morning. I was a bit like, and a small part of me wanted to have a little tantrum and be like, I don't want to do it. And so I got up, I listened to my Rudram, and I made my coffee, and I came outside, and it was the action of taking that phone away. That's how it felt. I stepped out of my back door, and it was like I put the phone down and I could see through a completely different lens. And the sky was the sun hadn't come up yet. The sky was such a beautiful fucking colour. And the moon was out really bright against the dark sky, and she's slim at the minute. She's waning, nearly new moon. But she was thin and small but bright, and then there's this beautiful evergreen tree thing. I don't know what kind of evergreen tree it is, but it's an evergreen tree. And Crow likes to sit on top. And I could see the crow sitting on the top, and there was a dark sky this side, and there was the sun was just coming up on this side, so that was slightly different colour. And as I came, I took a picture because it was beautiful. And as I came to sit down, it didn't feel like the birds would be out yet, so I wasn't expecting what I got. And as I stood here to put my blanket down and put all my things so I could just sit and observe, 3 birds came swooping right in and landed on all this buddleia that's been bent over by the snow. It was up, it's now like that, but that's fine. And there was a little, I think it must have been the female robin, because it was a little brown one that came swooping in, and then a blackbird came in, and then the male robin came right here right here, and was just like looking right at me. Oh, hey Robin, you're up early. You know, and they were so energetic and so happy, like their presence was happy. They were full of energy and vitality and excitement for the day. And I was like, oh, hello. And so I put my blanket down and I sat down and they did their thing. And then as I sat down and I looked at the crow, he did this like massive, like, rah, rah, rah. I was like, bloody hell, you are all up early today. You full of beans. And then, like I said, I sat down, and as I looked, that's when I saw the squirrel, and it was just. And then, you know, Mousie's come out as well today, which is cool. I've not seen Mousie for ages. And it was just seeing everything through a different lens. It had gone from, okay, I'm ready to do today, like, come on then, let's get it done, to like, wow, you know. And then as I've sat here observing, I can't really see it very well, but the sun just comes up in this little gap of trees, and it's a beautiful, at this time of year, it's like a beautiful deep orange. So you just get like a little glimpse of deep orange through the leaves and through the branches. Just see the sunrise coming up through the trees. Keep getting beautiful glimpses of it. It's quite difficult to get on camera. But whenever a bird flies past in the sky, you can just see like the orange on the bird as it flies past, which is beautiful. Doesn't look like much on the camera. I'm just gonna put the fucking thing down. And then, because it's over there, like when the birds fly over, the bottom of them is deep orange, because it's like obviously catching the light in the sky. And this birch tree has just been filled with blue tits and different kinds of birds, you know, magpies and crows, and kittiwakes have been flying over, and pigeons have been nesting on, like not nesting, sitting on all of the chimney tops and catching the beautiful sun. And it was just that, like, taking that lens away, that Babylon lens, that phone lens, that tech lens, just taking it away, just letting it drop, just going, do you know what? Let me just see through my own eyes. It was beautiful. I had such a beautiful dawning, and it's really changed my perspective on my day. It's just like, do you know what? I can do anything. I'm gonna smash today. And that's what sitting in stillness every dawning does for me. It just allows me to take away that shitty Babylon lens, you know, when there is no denying. You can't deny the beauty of the universe when you're sitting in your garden and all the birds are like flying around you and they're singing, and there's squirrels chilling and crows cawing, and the sunrise is beautiful, and it's just beautiful. And so that was the point of my video today. It was about sharing my beautiful dawning with you, and I can't share it in video form because, like I said, I did try, and I think there will be little snippets of what I attempted to film. Like, I'm not going to be the next David Attenborough, I can tell you that now. Yeah, it's been beautiful, and it's been lovely. Like, the last few weeks, although I've been busy and it's been a lot of change, I've still been writing some new bars and practicing my music and doing a few collaborations with people, which have been fun, and making, my meditation videos and sound healing journeys, which has been nice. So very grateful. Well, you're very tiny. I can't tell what type of bird it is because it's in silhouette, but it's very small. Yeah. I mean, how can you not be happy when you listen to that? It's beautiful. Tits are out. Oh, that might be a finch, actually. It is. Those are finches. Those are not the tips. Those are different. Wow. Never had finches before. Not that I know of. And so that was, you just sat here watching me watch birds really for the last 5 minutes. But I suppose what I wanted to say was try and drop the lens sometimes, even if it's just for a minute, just drop the tech lens, put the camera down. Oh, the crow's got something on his beak. Yum yum. Try to see through your eyes, not the eyes of tiredness or the eyes of fear or the eyes of frustration or just stillness, just observing, not putting anything on it, just allowing it to be. I found that it really does help me each day. Hey, Robin. To start my day a bit calmer, a bit more relaxed, a bit more capable. Even when it's cold. Feel the cold. Why wouldn't you feel the cold? Sometimes that's when you feel alive, Yeah, drop the lens. Drop the camera lens and look through your eyeballs. See what you see. See what happens. Leave it at the door just for a minute. Drop your shit at the door. That was a guided meditation I did once. really fucking helped. It's just like, right, this is the temple, this is the sacred space. Before you come into the door, you have to leave your shoes, you have to leave your bag, and you have to leave your stress, and you have to leave your worries, and you have to leave your bills, and you have to leave all the things that, you know, just everything. The things that make you happy and the things that make you sad, everything. Just leave it at the door, just before you come in. They'll still be there when you leave. And it's like, okay, fair enough. And that really helped sometimes to just, okay, I'm just going to drop everything just for a minute. It's still going to be there. I'm not leaving it forever. It's not that I'm disowning it and I'm running away from it and I'm distracting myself. I'm just leaving it just for a second. Ah, that bird had a little drink out the pond. I'm going to show you. He's really enjoying that. Aw, I'm glad you like it. Okay, so I'm just going to give you a little glimpse of what I see when I'm sat on my bench, so you can, well, it probably won't look as good, because as I've just said, like when you put the tech lens, it never looks as good, but you can at least get a glimpse of what I see when I'm sitting here. It's so beautiful. So this is to the left. I have the birds come all in here. And as you can see over there, there's like the sun in the distance. And there's all this here. All these trees. All the birds like to come into this big holly tree here. There's a blue tit in there. Probably can't see him because he's tiny. And there's the evergreen that the crow likes to sit on in the distance. And there's my birch tree that is currently lit up by the sunrise and looks beautiful. There's a blackbird in the holly tree. And then we have this poor fallen buddleia from the snow. And we have all of this here behind me. So I thought I would just quickly show you the pond that the blackbird was in. So it's just one of those silicone tub things, and I let it fill up with rainwater, and then I put some of this duckweed in, and I did a little stack of bricks in the centre, so it's just under the surface now because of all the rain that we've had. But the birds can sit on this, stand on it. Gives them something to do in the middle. Yeah, and it's a really simple pond actually. Really simple, really easy. But it's really useful and beneficial to the birds. I'll just show you. I have another one over here, but this one got all filled with leaves from the birch tree. Yeah, it has some duckweed in it too. And here's my other pond. Just having a few of them around really helps the wildlife and the birds, and especially through the winter. Yeah. And so that was a little walk around my garden. Had a little look at the bird bath. I hope you like that. And I hope that inspires you to get one yourself. It's so easy to do. Like, you can buy duckweed online, and it's like not expensive. It comes like in a little bag, and you literally just stick it into your pond, and it does its own thing, grows itself, does its thing, and it will multiply to the point, like grow and do the thing, to the point where you can scoop some out and put it in another pond. So it's quite worth the money, I would say. And it kind of like allows a tub of water, it makes a tub of water a pond, basically. Yeah. And as you see, you get like birds doing a little bath in it. It's cute. And just a few bricks, a few stones, a few bricks. Easy peasy. Bring you a lot of joy, I'm sure. But thank you for sharing my garden and for sharing my joy this dawning. I hope I have spread that joy, because that was my intention. My intention, because I felt so overwhelmed with joy and happiness at just being surrounded by life this dawning, that I wanted to share it. Like, I didn't want to keep it to myself. I didn't want to hold that just for myself. I wanted to share it. And, you know, having teenagers in the house, it's very difficult to share that. When they were little, if I'd have talked about that, they'd have been like, oh. But now they're teenagers, it's like, everything's, It's like, no, not, Which is okay, that's just where they are right now. I probably would have been the same when I was a teenager, so that's okay. But I wanted to share my joy, I wanted to share my happiness, I wanted to spread it, and I wanted to, you know, help you to drop the lens. Drop the tech lens that distorts everything. Drop the fear lens that distorts everything, that makes everything seem bleh, you know? When you look through the lens of love, everything is beautiful. So thank you. Thank you for sharing time and space with me. I hope you have a blessed day. I hope you enjoy the clear skies and the bird song and the beautiful sunrises that we've been having, and, you know, the new moon's coming soon. A good time to manifest happiness and joy and all the things that you want in your life. Yeah. That's it. From my heart to yours. Mwah. I love you. Have an amazing day. Woo.